for having me and the
Sure.
opportunity to interview you.
Thank you.
Yes, I love your shop. This is two-tone barbers.
Yeah.
How do you actually come up with this concept and this name?
Okay, so maybe I'll just introduce myself. I'm Ryan Johari. I'm actually the managing director for AJW Consultancy and also the co-founder of Two Tone Barbers. How Two Tone Barbers came about was in 2019. The founder of Two Tone Barbers, his name is Rosman. He started this business during COVID, pre-COVID and during COVID time, just to support his family and to set up with the community with barbers that's finding a job and couldn't find a job at that point. So the concept of Two Tone has always been building that community of people that's working class, and that's why Two Tone is, if you look at our caption, is for the working class by the working class.
Wow.
Because and that's the whole motto of Two Tone Barbers. And the name, the brand itself is black and white. As you can see, our shop is always black and white, and it started in the UK in 1970s, where the movements of racial prejudice is there back then, and basically we use the same concept of that subculture region within black and white people, and then we relate it to ourselves in Singapore, where it's all about multiracial culture, right? So at the end of the day, Two Tone Barber is not just about black and white, it's about yellow, brown, and whatever colors in the whole world. And this is basically what it is about, Two Tone Barbers.
Wow, I didn't know that being a barber can have so much social impact as well. Just like you're doing a very great deal on improving the environment as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So I really love the colors over here. This black and white is like the color that never goes out of fashion.
Exactly.
When you set up this shop itself, right? Do you face any challenges or any rejections from your family or friends? What was the biggest challenge that you faced?
The biggest challenge has always been, you have never been in this business. Why are you opening it? Whether it's friends, whether it's family, it's all about exploring. So my motto has always been, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And basically it's just about exploring everything that you can. On the setbacks of whether there is people who's trying to say to you that you can't do it because you're not a barber. It's not about that. It's about how you can actually correlate with all my experiences as consultant before. I have a decade of experience managing multiple business in different industries. So I use the same concept to actually develop another it could be a barber shop, it could be my farm business, it could be my honey business, it could be a food business. And I have multiple businesses that I actually love to explore that I've not been there, but the concept, the foundation is still there. It's just managing the business and how you can actually run it according to your experience, a decade of experience managing multinational business, and use the same concept within a small business like Two Tone Barbers, for example. Yeah.
So what skill sets do you see that in your consultancy firm that you can bring over for your business? What are certain skill sets?
I would always say that being resilient and open to new opportunities is very crucial in any business that you step in. And again, like I said, the challenges that I face it's always the fact that one leadership style doesn't work for every businesses. So being able to explore that and being able to maneuver within a certain sets of culture, certain sets of environment is very important. So for example, my consulting business has always been dealing with Asia Pacific. So I could deal with people in Australia, I could deal with people in Malaysia, Indonesia, for example. And these are countries that have, really very similar traits, but very different values. So being able to manage those countries and have success in it and learn from the mistakes that I have. For example, one leadership doesn't fit all. It's like one size fits all. It never worked. So being able to have that experience in my consulting business, managing cross-cultural management, maybe even understanding the values of other cultures, really fits into the business that I'm in, like Two Tone Barbers. It's a different sets of business, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's more about focusing on how you can actually being agile, or shape your leadership into the business that you are in.
Right. Yeah. So with this, right, do you feel that for young generations, the millennials, when they start out a business itself, right, they might not have the international exposure that you have? Would there be any advice that you will share with them that what sort of advice would you share with them if they were to start up?
For me, I didn't come from a very rich or silver spoon background. But to me, if I were to advise young generations, millennials, or even younger than millennials, I would always say that they have to travel the world, meet people, sit down in a bar or a cafe, sit down and speak to people around you, whether it's local or whether it's expats. There's always opportunity to speak to others from away from your background, and that way you will learn. That's the fastest way, in fact, to learn societal norm. And being able to approach, the first step is being able to approach a stranger and just ask about what they're doing in life. Being able to do that, it really grabs the idea of you meeting others in a professional or even social setting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good advice for the millennium.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, what is the biggest challenge that you have from when you start your business until now? Yeah. And how do you overcome it? Yeah.
Wow, the biggest challenge for me is I've always wanted to have a barber shop. The joke is that I can have free haircuts. But it's not just about the free haircuts. It's all about, back then when I go to a barber shop, being a man is very difficult. And I've always thought that, it's always the societal norm that man has to be very strong, looking good, being confident. But at the end of the day, who are we going to talk to? And the barber shop is actually a place. You will not realize this, but no man will tell you this. But it's actually a spot where you can actually release yourself and talk about anything and everything. And the concept of me starting this barbershop is to have that mindset that any customers that come in this door and leave, however problems or situation that they're in or predicament that they're in, they come out looking fresh, looking good, looking confident as well, because everything is going to be okay. After a haircut, after a full shave, after the experience that you get within the barber, you step out feeling good and feeling great. And that's the importance of being a gentleman. And that's why we have a gentleman haircuts, Being a gentleman is not just about being strong, it's not just about being confident, it's also about believing yourself. And that's what I feel that it should be for any barbershop. The challenges is being able to have this idea implemented to your barbers, because they're coming from a working class background. They wouldn't have the experience to speak to any form of professionals or even people from different backgrounds. Being able to educate them, being able to train them is very important, and it's still challenging. We're still learning, we are still developing ourselves. But that doesn't mean that we cannot learn through the process. I think the best way for you to learn is to go on the train ride itself than just learning from a book.
Right. Yeah. I also understand that you are probably the first and only one in Singapore that does a very special head spa.
Yeah.
Right. Can you share more with me about that?
All right. So it happened when I was in Japan. I went to a salon, not like a barber, and I had a very sensational experience. And this whole feeling that you are drowning, but the sensation of opening up your neurons in your brain just because it's called the waterfall. It's a very traditional Japanese concept in Japan, mostly on Japanese salon. And being able to get the idea and bring it to a barber shop, for example, it's a new thing. And I would say that it is a tough way for people to learn how it started, and how sometimes when the customers come in, they'll be like, what is this? But it's all about that process of telling them that this is a process for you to relax. This is a process, it's a therapy. After a haircut, you like your look, you're feeling fantastic, but what's the additional edge we can actually provide? It's not just a normal hair wash, but actually an experience by itself.
Wow,
Yeah.
sounds very sensational. I should probably try it later.
You should, you'll be enjoying. It's really something that we are very known for, and we charge our customers for that, because it is really amazing that our barbers know the theory, they know the way how it's been done, and they take time and patience. And because we have a lot of passionate barbers here, and they love what they do, and being able to see the customers happy after that and say, oh my God, I've never had that experience before, I will definitely come back. And you should definitely try it because you will definitely come back after that.
Right, let's go for it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, cool. So, Ryan, could you share with me any free books or anything that you read that can benefit the readers and the listeners over here?
For sure. I'll be honest, I never read books in my life. Not a lot, I mean, not never, but I mean, I study a lot. But the 3 books I would say, like on top of my head right now, is, like I said, 12 Rules of Life from Jordan Peterson. That's really important because it keeps a person going. It understands the value of life, the value of how you actually behave in societal form, especially in the challenging times that we are in now. We are in now in a very, very competitive market, especially in Singapore. That's one book that I will recommend. Second book is Kite Runner by Khalid Hussaini. It's about bringing yourself down and understanding how people in places like Afghanistan and maybe the third world countries of how they live and how they are in a certain set of environment and how they actually grow from there. And by that means you have that experience of trying to humble yourself and the power of being yourself. That's very important because that book show you the importance of being yourself. And I've been in a decade of experience in multinational corporations, whether it's mid-size or big size, and I've seen it. I'm a HR, so I was a HR, and I'm still a HR in terms of consulting. When you see people in corporate setting, you always, I'm sure you know as well, that people try to be someone that they're not. And it's very important that you have to be yourself, whether it's the good side of you or the bad side of you, because you never know, the bad side of you could be a strength for your organization. Doesn't mean your good side could be a strength for that organization itself. An organization always works 2 ways, it's not just one way. Yeah, this is 3 books that I would recommend my viewers.
Awesome. Yeah. One last question, Ryan.
Okay.
If a bald man comes in, are you going to charge him? Will you give me a special price?
100%. I 100% will charge them. The reason why I always do this, I mean, it's like going to the gym. If it's a free gym, you'll never go. You will find it lazy for you to go because it's free. But when you pay for something, you take importance of it. And it's not just about being bald. It's about how we take our time to actually consult, do your hair. I mean, if you're bald, you don't have hair, but taking the time to really shape you up, telling you the consultation is always the importance because the barbers work by the hour, and the hour is the one that actually make them who they are. And when you pay something, you put importance, and you actually learn from what they have to say. The barbers doesn't need to actually tell you how life should be. Actually, by them listening, it's already an answer.
Awesome.
So that's why we charge.
Thank you very much for today, Ryan.
Thank you so much for coming, and definitely you should try it. Yeah, exactly.